Aloha kako, mahalo for joining us today. We'll begin with a pule by Walter Kaneakua.
Hey, Puli Kako. Our dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day. We thank you that you brought us here through so many varied paths and journeys. We thank you for the work that you set before us, the hands that contribute to making progress for our people. We thank you that you've given us a marvelous founder. We ask that you'd continue to bless us so we could be blessings to others. These things we ask in your name and give you thanks. Amen.
Okay, the budget workshop of the Hawaiian Homes Commission is called to order. The workshop is being held virtually on Zoom and in person at Halepunui 91-5420 Kapolei Parkway, Kapolei, Oahu. I'm Collie Watson, Chairman of the Commission. Today's date is Friday, June 12th, 2026. The time is 10:05. Leo, will you please call the roll?
Commissioner Kaneakua,
Aye.
Commissioner Ornelas. Aye. Commissioner Makai Freitas is excused. Commissioner Pauline Namuo is excused. Commissioner Markville. Ew. Commissioner Kalepa will be joining us later. Commissioner Kalekini will be joining us later. Chair Watson.
Here.
5 members present. We have a quorum.
Let's see.
Okay, Commissioner Biswa, sorry.
Yeah. There's oversight.
Okay, so 5 members present, we have a quorum.
Okay, today's workshop is for information only. The department will present its fiscal year 2027 Department of Hawaiian Homeland's budget. Public testimony can be given at the start of the meeting or following the presentation. The budget is scheduled to be approved on Monday, June 15, at the Commission's regular monthly meeting. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, let's see. Philip, Jeff, and Janelle, and Katie, are you coming up? Or, okay, Philip, okay.
Sorry. Good morning and aloha, Chair Watson and
Hello.
commissioners. For the record, my name is Philip Nguyen. I'm the Administrative Services Officer. So for today, agenda for the budget workshops. Next slide, please. Thank you. So for today's agenda, we have 8 items. For me, I will be covering from item 1 to 7. And the last one for the development budget, that will be covering by Kalani from Land Development Division. Next, please. One more. So for the state budget process, the state fiscal year goes from July 1st to June 30th the following year. Currently, we are in fiscal year FY26, which is the first year of the biennium, and we'll be finishing this fiscal year in a few weeks. This budget workshop is in anticipation for us to come back on Monday to request for your request for the approval of FY27 budget, which is the supplemental year. And we'll come back in a few months in September to seek for your approval for the Nelson's. We also call it the sufficient sums budget request for 2028. And it would be a much bigger budget for the Nelson budget. Next, please. So for Article 12, Section 1 of the Hawaii State Constitution require that the legislature provide sufficient fund to the department for the four purposes. One, development of home, agriculture, farm, and ranch lots. Two, providing loans to home, agriculture, aquaculture, farm, and ranch. Third purpose is for rehabilitation projects to include but not limited to educational, economic, political, social, cultural processes by which the general welfare and conditions of Native Hawaiians thereby improve. And the last purpose, purpose 4, is for administrations and operating budget for the department. Next, thank you. So this slide shows an overview of our internal and external sources of fundings. For internal source of funding, we have 2 special funds, we have 5 trust funds, 2 revolving fund, and for external funding sources, we have 4 general fund, general obligation bonds, revenue bonds, and federal funds. So the details for all of these funds are included in the budget workshop materials. But I will provide an overview for each fund in this presentation. So for special fund, the first one is Hawaiian Home Administration's account, which is also commonly known as the admin account. The account number for this fund is S325, and we use this to pay for the department operating costs in absence or to supplement the general funds. And the source of revenue is coming from the general lease. And this fund is, the ceiling is set by the legislature annually. The next special fund is Hawaiian Homeland Revenue Bond Special Fund. The account number for this one is S350. And we use this special fund to pay for our revenue bond. The source of revenue is coming from Hawaiian Home Admin account. I also want to note that since 2008, OHA has been helping us with a $3 million annually of revenue. And so thank you for this partnership with OHA. Next is our trust funds. So we have 5, and this is the first one. Hawaiian Homeland Trust Funds. The account number is T902. And basically this account was set up. People used to refer this to the settlement account from Act 14. So it's, the payment was started from 1995 and ended in 2015 for 20 payment of 30 million each year for a total of 600 million. And the remaining balance are currently being invested. Next one is the Native Hawaiian Rehabilitation Funds. The account number is T924. We use this fund for educational, political, social, and cultural program services that improve the general welfare and conditions of Native Hawaiians. And the source of revenue come from ceded lands payments and 30% of receipts stemming from previous sugarcane lands. Okay, so the third trust fund that we have, this is the big one. This is the Hawaiian Home Operating Funds. So we used to have 2 separate funds, operating funds and development funds. And this 2 funds was combined for administrative purposes in 1986. But they still been treated as 2 separate funds. Next one, please. So for the operating portions of these funds, we use it for activities that support the homestead, also for appraisal, consultants, and all the staff services. For the development portion, this one more, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, for the development portions, we use it for lot improvement and development, improvement to access, consultants, equipment, land acquisitions, but we need the prior governor approval for the use of these funds, for the use of the development portion of these funds, yeah. Yeah, and I forgot the account number for that fund is 905 and 915. Next, we have Hawaiian Home Trust Funds. This is the 4 trust fund that we have. The account number is 917. We basically we use funds, this fund for loans program such as FHA, 247, and USDA guarantees loans program. And the revenue source is coming from the Hawaiian Home admin account. Next and the last one, we have Hawaiian Home Receipt Funds. The account number is T916. This is the funds, the revenue source for this fund is coming from the loan interest income and the investment income. And we transfer these funds to Hawaiian Home admin account or Hawaiian Home Trust Fund or any other loans funds. This is the account that we request for quarterly transfer to the admin account. Next is revolving fund. We have 2. And the first one is Hawaiian Home Loans. The account number for this one is 302. We use this for payment of net proceeds when homestead lease is canceled or surrender or when a leasee dies without naming a qualified successor. Next, please. Our next revolving fund is Hawaiian Home General Loan Fund. We use this for loan for various loans purposes, including home repair, maintenance, purchase of constructions of new homes. Also can be used for livestock, farm equipment, and farm loans. Okay, so moving on to external funds. First one is clearly the general funds. And this year, we have HB 1800 is the current bill. The governor has not signed this bill into the Budget Act yet. But the general fund is what appropriated by the legislature annually to the department. And basically, the general funds cover personal services for the 200 general funded positions and admin and operating costs. Next is the general obligation bond. We also call them GEO bond. This basically finance our department CAP projects. And for FY27, the legislature have appropriated 34.2 million in total for our GEO bond. We also, we also have revenue bonds. We have one and we're still paying for that right now. Next, we also have federal funds. So the 2 most significant federal funds that we have is the NAHASDA, which is the Native Hawaiian Housing Block Grants that we receive from the Department of Housing and Urban Development. The annual amount is about 22.3. We also have the NTIA Tribal Broadband Connectivity Program. We have received 2 separate grants in total in the past for this. One 17 mil, and second one is for 72 mil. So a total of 89 million for the broadband grant. We also have various grants under the USDA for various water projects. Yeah, next please. So this table showing how we will be using our loans funds in FY 27. These amounts are basically remain unchanged for the past few years. And it's the same for FY 27 with the exceptions of Nahasta loans under the direct loans financing. Last year it was 7 millions. We came in and asked for a ceiling increase of 23 millions. So in 27, we will have a total of 30 millions. Next, please. So this table, the same table is on page 27 of the budget workshop materials. I think that table looks a little bit nicer than here. So for FY 27, we received the same level of funding and the same number of positions compared to 26. The legislature wanted to cut 3 of the 200 positions from us, but we were able to defend them and preserve the entire 200 positions for this year. Currently, out of the 200 position, there are 34 vacancy as of today. We currently have, out of those 34 vacancy, we have 6 pending job offer. In addition to that, we also have 10 89-day hire, which we also call those are emergency hires. So we actually have bodies in this for 10 out of the 34 position that are currently vacant. For the general funds, we received the same 28 millions, where 28 million go to A&O, which is admin and operating, and 10 million is for the rehabilitation projects under the planning office to provide grants to homestead communities. There's also a $10 million under the special fund account. I want to make note that out of this $10 million, $6 million is coming from the green fee. For our operating portion, the trust fund, this is the legislative appropriated. I'm sorry, the section 1 is the legislative appropriated. It's the same 3.7 million that we have been getting for the past many years. Moving on to section 2, which is the non-appropriated funds. So basically, this is our trust funds. So 27 for FY 27, we're going to be asking for roughly 17.1 millions in the non-appropriated funds. For the Native Hawaiian Rehab Funds, we are asking for 450. Just to make a note, this 450 is on top of the 10 millions from the general fund. So collectively, there will be 10.45 millions for the rehabilitation projects. And for the revenue bond special fund, it has been 3.2 million for many years, and it's the same this year. And so the total is gonna be 63,435,925. Next, please. So I mentioned the green fee earlier. This table shows the complete details of all of the green fee projects that we have. So this $6 million that we received $6 million from the green fee funding, and this is non-recurring. We will be expecting to go into the legislature to ask for green fee funding every year moving forward. But for FY 27, we have 6 million. 2 million of that goes into the Act 96 related projects, which is fire mitigation projects, and is sort of span out into multiple islands, Kauai, Molokai, Big Island, Oahu, Maui, and all that. And some of the project is statewide. For the remaining 4 million is dedicated to the Keaukaha wastewater improvement projects, phase 2. So this is specifically dedicated for that project on the Big Island. And so, in the total, we have a 6 million for the green fee. So this is the same table that is on page 29 of the budget workshop material. It's a nicer table there. This table provides an overview of our various trust funds and special funds and their status. So as of May 31st, 26, that column's there in the middle. They all have a very healthy balance. And for the estimated fund balances at the end of FY27, which is the last columns, those balance remain to be positive and healthy. I want to point out one error that I have made, apologies on my end, on the Native Hawaiian Rehab Funds, on that row T924, the balance of 6.3 million is inaccurate. It's supposed to be 5.904360. So it's an error with the formula. So I really apologize for that. But overall, everything looked very positive and healthy as of now and as of the end of FY27. Thank you. So with that, I would like to take any questions from the commissioners.
Yes, Chair.
Right.
On that last statement, what was you said the 5.9064 instead of 6.354?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. So now that I'm totally confused on all this budget thing,
Yes.
in regards to all of these, the Hawaiian Home Administration Account Rehabilitation Fund and all the accounts,
Yes.
now the balances currently, you're saying is comfortable.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And then for balances for the end of the year, fiscal year 27, we should be okay as well.
Correct.
So why don't we have funding for certain things that, for the, like the individuals that we have for the state to hire, the 200 seats that we're looking for? Is it because of not enough funding for that area?
For the vacancy that we have, we are actively recruiting. It's just we can almost never have a situation that we can fill 100% of our positions because people will leave and come and leave.
Oh, okay.
So there's always challenges to recruitment, especially for the hard to fill positions, especially in an area like Molokais and things like that. So
is that a hiring problem then?
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And how do we correct that? Or how can we correct that?
So we have been actively, recruiting with different approach. One of the approach that we use is OHI, which is the new DHER program that could allow us to post the recruitment directly to DHER and receive, when people apply, we will receive the application directly from DHER. And the process will allow us to advertise and bring somebody on board within a few weeks, maybe 2 weeks. And that's the OHI, which is the new and improved program. On top of that, we have been participating in almost every job fair that they are available, either at Hawaii Convention Center, at the state capitol, or at UH. So have been actively going out there, putting out the word, reaching out, our jobs, posting on our websites, on our DHA websites. So we've been doing everything that we could to put the word out there. It's just some of these positions are very difficult to fill. Some of the salaries is on the low end, and some of the position is exempt. So it's not civil service where people look for stable jobs. They want sometimes civil service. So there's so the position will last for a long time. Some of our position exam was subject to renew from year to year. So some people are not comfortable with that and they're not applying.
Okay, so I'm assuming there's a way of correcting all that then.
Correct, we are,
Okay.
yes.
The other question I had, Chair, is you have a revenue bond fund. So in that, does the interest in that is used for the operation of the bond revenue?
Our revenue bond is what we are actually paying right now. It's not a revenue that we can
Okay.
use, yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Chair, I have some questions.
Commissioner Ornelas?
So along the lines of the staffing,
Yes,
it's a clear improvement from last year where I believe there were 56 openings,
54, yes,
54.
yes.
So, I mean, obviously there's been strides made there. The question that I have is related to the 10 89-day positions.
Yes.
Are these retirees that have agreed to stay on?
So we have various candidates. Some of them are retiree, some of them are just like younger folks that are looking for jobs. So while they're looking for some kind of permanent position, this is just the temporary solution for them. So, but a lot of this 89 hiring eventually turn out to become our permanent employees.
That's
Uh,
where I'm like,
yes.
I'm curious as to the conversion rate, average conversion rate of these 10 positions. What would be your best guess that either through a benefits package or some kind of stable funding what percentage of these 10 would be feasibly converted into permanent employees?
So for them to get into the permanent position, they have to apply through an equal opportunity process. But because they are working in the position as 89-day hire, that will give them the advantage in terms of experience and qualification, knowing the jobs and all that.
Mhm.
Conversion rate has been quite good. I don't know the exact number, but I could think it's at least 30% of the conversion rate. You know, clearly some of the retiree, they're just coming back to help. They're
Okay.
not gonna look for a permanent position. But the
Mhm.
younger folks that we are bringing on, if they are good folks, we are trying to convert them to place them into permanent position as much as possible.
Thank you. That answers that question. Second is related to the Native Hawaiian Rehabilitation Fund.
Yes.
Would you give a little bit more clarification on that 450,000? I mean, it's considerably lower than FY 2025 and then incrementally higher than 26. So what is that, where did that number come from? The 450? And how does it help? It just seems like a small amount, so if
Um,
you wouldn't mind.
okay, sure. So Deputy is the better person to answer this question.
Oh,
Thank
okay.
you.
Aloha, Katie.
Aloha, Katie Lambert for the record. When it comes to the NERF, 1 budget cycles ago, it wasn't, as Philip described it, in the healthy state that it is currently. It was like down to like $2 or $3 million. And historically, up to 1.5 million was used to try to, this fund specifically is tied to the Native Hawaiian Development. I'm missing a letter, NHDDP, which is basically our grant program that tries to offer competitive grants to our homestead associations and organizations that support our homestead and kind of capacity building and some operating projects that they have, right? It's part of our self-sufficiency for the homesteads to gain capacity and do their own projects. What we realized, though, was that the legislature since 2022 has been giving us $10 million for existing homesteads. Only a portion of that was being used for grants, which was not what the legislature intended, apparently. We were using it for other ways. So as part of a course correction last year, we dedicated the 10 million. There's an issue with budget execution policy that says, 5 hard, 5 contingency restrictions. So up to 9 million, we actually, with the ability to request that the last 1 million be released. And so that's actually what we did last year. So we gave the NERF a break to try to replenish and focused on the 10 million. This year, it'll be the 10 million for the grants. And then what the 450 represents is support from the NERF for the technical assistance, basically the manpower that is needed to actually administer, right, the grant process. It is a competitive grant process, so we need staff. The staff needs materials. They need to go out. They need to educate. They need to have workshops and things like that. So that is what the $450,000 in fiscal year 27 represents, and that's why you might, when you look at it and you see the patterns, you're like, why is it that way? And that's the reason.
Okay. Well, thank you. That was very good. My final question has to do with the green fee funding.
Yes.
There's a line item called Homestead Firewise Support Specialist. Is that one person
Correct.
that would travel throughout the state?
Yes,
To
that
do-
will be one position that will be managed under the office of the chairman. We actually going to contract out that position instead of having
Okay.
that
That's-
position as our own employee.
Okay,
Yes.
that's what I was going to ask. And so the likelihood of that being something that can be renewed? I mean, it's a huge undertaking, obviously, and so for one person.
Yes.
So is this anticipated that this would be something that would be renewed each year as we move into more compliant, our homesteads being participants of the Firewise program? Or is this more of just pilot project, let's just try it for a year? It's 120,000, that's why I'm asking.
I believe the plan is to continue to come in next year and ask for the same funding to continue to support these positions, not just for next year, but probably in the upcoming years.
Okay, thank you so much.
Let me add to that. So my understanding is that the chairman's office is undergoing a partnership with HWMO or PO. Sorry, I'm getting the letters all mixed up. And so it's not like it's a single person kind of she is connected, or she or he will be connected to the much larger organization that already does a lot of it. In fact, some of our homesteads already have certified plans working with the Hawaii Wildfire organization. I'm missing a letter in there. Again, sorry, apologies, but that's kind of the idea. So it's not a single person, brand new, being kind of dumped on. So there is
Will be
hopefully a
connected
partnership.
to
Yeah.
Clark. Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy.
Okay, any other questions? Commissioner Kanepua? Oh, Commissioner Kaleikini?
Yeah. Thank you, Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Thank you. Yeah, I wanna just a couple things for me to clarify for myself. And this is so Philip, this is for fiscal year 2026, in the administration account. I'm looking at the page 27 of 29. The amount is 101 million for fiscal year 2026. Why is that higher than previous year and what we anticipate for 2027?
I'm sorry, you said page 27 of the budget workshop, is that correct?
Yes, yeah, it's the operating budget by state, yeah, appropriation. Yeah. Where they talk about the positions also at the very top.
And the amount you refer to is the 101? Million?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so my understanding is that in FY 26, uh 97 I had a footnote on that table. So 97 millions of that 101
Mm-hmm.
is the carryover from Act 279.
Okay, okay. All right.
Yeah, that's why the number was huge for that
Okay.
year.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. That's helpful. Thank you. So I wanted to also move on to positions.
Yes.
So I heard, is it correct that we have 454 open positions so far?
34.
Or if it's not, what is the how many positions do we have open of the 200 that's authorized?
We have 200 authorized. Are you asking for the number of vacancy?
Yes,
The number of vacancy as of today is 34.
it's 34. Sorry. Okay.
Right. Yes.
Okay. And in following up with filling positions, who's responsible? Well, maybe not who's responsible, but how do we actually fill the positions? Is it by departments or I mean, like, does LMD hire their own open positions and et cetera? And how is that accomplished? I'm more interested in home services, and particularly for Hilo, for Hawaii, East Hawaii.
Okay. So it's different for the types of position in terms of
Okay.
recruitment.
Yep.
For exam positions, we have a lot more flexibility. So we put the ad on our own website, and people can apply directly to us,
Okay.
and we forward the application to the appropriate divisions for them to conduct interview and making selections.
Okay.
So that is much easier and faster with the exam position. For the civil service positions, we have to go through DHER. And that could be a very lengthy process for the
Right.
position to be posted on their website, and
Mhm.
people have to apply through the DHER process. They get screened by DHER, and only if they qualify, they will get on the list, and that list will be coming over to us. And then we provided that list to the appropriate division, such as HSD or LDD, for them to conduct the interview and making the selection. But I also mentioned the OHI program earlier. That is also for the civil service position. OHI is just an expedited process, and it started when they had the federal worker layoff. So the OHI projects was started to help with the recruitment from the federal workers. But that program remains, and it's been a tremendous help with our recruitment process. So if we have people that want to apply for a certain position, we can put the ad out in OHI, and the recruitment process only takes a few weeks instead of months for the civil service position.
Would be here. Okay. Okay, thank you. My last question. So I saw the line item for the Kelkaha sewer project, 4 million. And this is not financial related, but Chair, who's the lead person on that project that I can like reach out to separately for this discussion?
Yeah, Kalani will cover that when he's.
I mean, oh, he's covering that later today. If not, I can speak to him separately. I know this is
I
about the
think
budget.
it's Calbert. Is it
Calbert, okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's all I needed on that. Appreciate it. That's it. Thank you.
Any other questions, Commissioner? If not, Kalani?
Okay, thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Philip.
Thank you.
Aloha Chair, Commissioners, good morning. For the record, Kalani Fronda, Acting Administrator with the Land Development Division. Before I walk through fiscal year 27 CIP budget, I'd like to take a moment to share three things. First, I'd like to recognize and thank our government relations team, Lehua Kaliko, Oriana, Auntie Ulu, and Stacy Lynn. Working closely with Chair Watson, Deputy ASO, and myself, it's been a honor to work with them and really have a successful legislative session this year. Today, we are coming before you to present funding for Part A and Part B, so CIP projects. Part A is the lot development projects, and this is significant because outside of the historic investment we received through Act 279, it's been a very long time since the department received legislative funding specifically dedicated to lot development. This funding represents another important step toward getting more lots into construction and ultimately getting more beneficiaries onto the land. Second, the budget before you today does not include an update on our Act 279. We've, as you recall, on March 16th, we provided the commission with an Act 279 update. And I also want to mention that since we've encumbered all of the Act 279, you don't see it in our budget because these monies have been encumbered already. So on March 16th, we provided an update of Act 279, including a project by project breakdown of appropriate funds, construction schedules, and anticipated lot delivery timelines. Today's presentation is focused solely on the FY27 CIP budget and should not be viewed as reflection of the significant investments already underway through Act 279. Third, you will notice that this presentation does not include a profit and loss budget. The reason is simple. The Land Development Division is a cost center and not a profit center. Our responsibility is to plan, design, permit, construct, and maintain the infrastructure necessary to create homestead opportunities and support existing communities. As such, the budget before you is focused on capital improvements, infrastructure investments, repairs, maintenance, and development activities. What you'll see today is a request for approval of funding across three primary areas. The first is Act 250 funding, totaling $20 million, which was previously approved as part of our biennium budget and supports critical repair, maintenance, and infrastructure improvement projects statewide. The second is funding approved by the legislature through HB, not SB, HB 1800 this past session. This includes CIP funding for lot development projects, CIP funding for repairs, maintenance, and operations projects, as well as green fee funded initiatives. And finally, you'll see a request for trust funds. These requests are intended to advance strategic development opportunities, address funding gaps where costs have escalated beyond original estimates, and position future projects so they are ready for implementation when additional funding becomes available. At the end of the day, all of these investments support one common objective: creating more homestead opportunities, maintaining the infrastructure we already have, and continuing to move projects forward so we can fulfill our mission to our beneficiaries. With that, let me dive a little deeper into the numbers. Next slide, please. And one more. So we'll cover HB 1800, total of about 24.2 million. There's it's not only this, I have 2 pages of it. So the first one is 2.5 million towards Nanakuli Homestead. We've had about 15 lots that we identified many decades ago. And so this is monies that is coming from the legislature to support us being able to now put this into the inventory so we can award it. You're going to see a project lease opportunity that's coming up this summer in regards to that particular project. 18.3 million for Honomu Phase 2. We had started a process. We issued out project leases already, and we were short some funds for a bid that we had gone out for construction. And so this will fill that gap. And that's specifically for subsistence agriculture in Honolulu. Next slide, I'm sorry, my bad. Thank you. Keaukaha, 400,000, that's going to go towards some of the work that's needed there for, specifically for wastewater. 3 million towards Hanapepe Phase 2. It's part of the GAP financing. So, I mean, GAP monies that we need. We've already had some allocated as part of Act 279. And this is for the 82 lots that we have in Hanapepe. Next slide, please. The Mauna Lua, oh, can you go? Okay, yeah. And so we have for new trust funds. So we have 3.8 million that we're asking for approval from the commission in regards to trust funds, specifically for lot development. 400,000 going towards Mauna Lua. And this is the due diligence reports and so on that we need. This is the area in Hawaii Kai that we had acquired from Kamehameha Schools. And we're in the process of going through working with various consultants to do due diligence for this area. 150,000 is for Hawaii Community College. So on the Big Island in Hilo, we have a partnership with that college. It's really to build that pipeline of the next generation and getting into this workforce. And so we've identified a number of different projects, a number of different lots that we are building along with them. So this will fulfill another set of homes that we will be building with in partnership with them. 3.2 million is for Honoka'a. As you are aware, we had acquired this just recently as part of the Act 279 projects. This allows for us to fund some of the due diligence work that we are doing here. 75,000 is for, we've been taking an active role, as you've heard not only staff, but also chair mention an active role on Act 14, and that's that restitution of lands coming back from the state to the trust. And so in this effort, as we've identified and working with various departments to be able to position this, we also need some funding to go through and actually do some due diligence work. So this will help supplement some of the work that we're doing right now. 60,000 is for VOCA payment. This is an ongoing that we've been paying due to when we first built out Kapolei, specifically in Kaupea area. We did a assessment of how many lots that we're going to build. They programmed and projected that for what VOCA or the Villages of Kapolei Association would be collecting. When we went through again, it actually came out a little less. And so we're paying that cost. That's what this is. But we're working through with them and also with leadership on trying to identify bringing that cost down or removing it, period. Next slide, please. We're going to jump to repairs, maintenance, and operations called Part B. Next slide. We have a couple of slides. So Act 250 is a total of roughly about 20 million, as we had mentioned, was identified as part of the biennium budget, previous biennium budget. The 1 million is towards Homestead Papakolea infrastructure remediation. Papakolea is a aging community, and this is some monies that we've been using to make sure we bring this area up to par. Eventually, the plan is, as we've shared in previous meetings, that we'd like to turn over a lot of these facilities over to the various counties. And so this is one way that we're doing it. 1 million is towards Kapolei sewer repairs. Even though, we've built this, can't believe it's probably almost 20 plus years. We are going through a process of having to upgrade some of these areas. A lot of these areas in Kapolei have not been turned over to the county yet. And so a concern that came from the legislature, and we're working on that as an enterprise, is executing these memorandum of agreements so the end line or the end goal doesn't continue to change, and we're coming up and asking for monies each year to be able to bring it up to par. So we're in the process of strategically working on that. These are monies that will go towards the Kapolei sewer repairs, road right-of-way infrastructure improvements. Generally, we need this. A lot of it is on Oahu because of the density of the communities. we need to go through. Of course, everybody wants a speed hump. Everybody wants something. And as you've seen outside here in Kanahili, we created a speed state, a speed table. It's an island. So it really helps control a lot of the major traffic and incidents that are happening. 3 million is going towards Kalamaula drainage. We, as you've seen in Konolo, major impact in Molokai. So we're making sure that some of these monies, especially addressed with the 20 million, can be utilized for some of these critical areas. 3 million for Kapa'akea Oneali'i drainage. Once again, another key zone and key area that got impacted by Konolo. Next slide, please. It's the second part of the Act 250, Molokai water system improvements, 2 million, 1 million towards Molokai drainage improvements, covering a number of other areas other than the two of Kapa'akea Oneali'i and Kalamaula. 1.5 needed towards Naiva. Naiva in general, we have quite a bit of monies from previous appropriations allotted for this, but this is part of that gap that we need to be able to fulfill to continue on and complete the project itself. 1 million towards wastewater treatment plant and Kapa'akea. This is one of those areas that we have identified that there's a need for cesspool conversion. So this is one of those ways of addressing future to be able to resolve some of those issues. The next is Keaukaua sewer improvements master plan. This is, I believe this is the one that Commissioner Kaleikini was asking about. Or actually, I'm sorry, it's the next one. So anyways, 5 million towards Keaukaua sewer improvements master plan needed for that area. We've been having conversations with the county, working on entering into an MOA with them as well, specific to this particular part of the island. Next slide, please. We're jumping over to HB 1800, 2.5 million towards Waianae sewer improvements, 500,000 towards traffic calming island-wide, 4 million towards road right-of-way infrastructure improvements. And I want to pause right there as it relates to calming island-wide and road right-of-way infrastructure improvements. In this last legislative session, there was a resolution that was put forth, and that resolution was that DOT highways would work with, DOT would work with the department on addressing some of these areas and issues. This will actually help us in the procurement process, as well as, I want to say, partnering and teaming up with them on areas that are critical in their inventory as well as ours. The eventual plan is, once again, as we move things from our inventory to the county, our inventory to DOT, whether it's through a license mechanism or whatnot, we need to bring it up to par. And so this is why we've identified some of these expenditures. And as you've seen in we have 74,000 towards the 6 dry stream beds maintenance. And this is one of the items that we've identified that's coming from the green fee initiatives. And the 6 dry stream beds are the ones that are located on the island of Molokai. Next slide, please. Keaukaua sewer improvements. I believe this is what Commissioner Kaleikini was identifying, 4 million. That's another item that is part of the green fee initiative that we had mentioned and passed that on to Governor's office, that we would want this funded through the green fee initiative. And so fortunately, it's part of the HB 1800, 1.5 million towards Pu'ukapu non-potable water system improvements, 1 million towards Kauai water system improvements. This is part of our effort to work with internally, as well as with the county, on addressing water, not only the water that we've been using through Kohala Ranch, but also the water that we need to be able to address. So we're tying it in somehow, either to the county's existing system or creating our own. 156 million towards Pilani Maikekai ground maintenance. This is also a green fee initiative project. We have, it's our responsibility in certain areas for us to continue to maintain these um, sorry, fire breaks. And so this is an area in Kauai that we needed some funding for that. Next slide, please. So new trust funds, about 14 million. And, we are working very strategically to not only bring this cost down, but find other ways that we can actually have someone else pay for it. And so eventually, as we had mentioned, we'd like to make sure that a lot of these areas are turned over in perpetuity as far as the management is concerned, not only management, but funding of the management by the various municipalities. So we've been taking an active strategic role on trying to identify that. 3 million is towards Y&I sewer improvements. One of the reasons for that is we have several zones or several communities in Y&I that requires cesspool conversion. But before that cesspool conversion occurs, we really need to improve the sewer improvements up to in those communities. So when it's taken from the property line to their house, at least all of these things are up to par. West Oahu sewer improvements, 1.5 million, another 8 million for Princess Kahanu sewer improvements. We've already had some monies that were allocated, appropriated for this particular project, but the bid came in a little higher. And so this is part of that to fulfill that gap. 650,000 for Waiolimu and Kapahu slope maintenance. That's in Papakolea area. It's something that not only has come up in various community conversations and meetings, it's also some areas that we've identified with also the county that needs to be addressed. Next slide, please. So the remainder of the trust funds projects are 100,000 for Leali'i fire break maintenance. We've, as we move forward with Leali'i 1B, there's still some areas of responsibility that we have to make sure that we continue to maintain, especially with some of the concerns that have come up before, and also our active role and responsibility for areas in West Maui. Waiahu Coal fire break and drainage maintenance. Waiahu Coal is an area that we had developed some time ago. And so this is also making sure that we fulfill that role and responsibility on assisting that community. Puhona landscape and drainage basin maintenance. We're in the process of still completing the development of this area. But one of the areas that got turned over very quickly and completed because we needed that was the drainage basin and landscape. So we are carrying that cost right now to be able to manage that and working on what that'll look like in the future. And we haven't identified that yet. The last two are related to Lalomilo Phase 1. Lalomilo is in Waimea, Waimea, Hawaii, on the Big Island. And it's an area where we have completed lots already. We have residents that are living there. It's an area that we're also working with DOT highways on the Kauai Road channelization. And so once we do that, we can actually connect our existing communities to the main road. In the meantime, they're accessing the main road in from another road. And the last is a combination of things. So infrastructure improvement. It also will address some of the concerns that were coming up from the community in regards to the different types of erosion that's happening along the stream beds. And so these are monies that we're addressing that can assist both our division as well as the district in being able to stabilize this area. Next slide, please. And that completes and concludes CIP budgets. Mahalo, and open for any questions.
Any questions, commissioners? Commissioner Sonoy, Markfield?
Aloha, mahalo nui for your presentation. One quick question is for Part A, the Nanakuli Homestead. So that's turnkey.
We're going to finish the lots, and then we will look to see what's the best way to approach it. Given it's a smaller set of, I want to say a smaller volume of homes there, we want to take a look at what's best. Part of it may be working in conjunction as a owner build. Another might be activating maybe a phase 2 of our pilot project that we have in regards to the modular homes. We haven't identified what that'll look like yet.
Okay,
Our main thing is we want to be able to fulfill the horizontal side and get everything ready for development.
okay. Since that announcement, everybody's knocking on my door, so just trying to make sure that I
Yes.
have the right answers. For part A, the new trust funds,
Yes.
you had 3.2 million for Honoka'a, geotech and other reports. What is the difference between geotech and other reports versus due diligence?
It's the
What-
same thing.
It's the same thing.
But we had it specifically identified it for geotech to make sure that that needed to be completed. And so we highlighted that in the explanations.
Thank you.
But it is the same thing.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I thought it was something different. That's why I thought I'd ask. And then when you allocate the road right-of-way infrastructure improvement funds, who is the priority in terms of community?
Mhm. Good, great question. Sometimes these are there because we've identified some projects. I don't have that list, but I can get that to you.
Okay.
We have several areas that have already come up. And then we also have that as it comes up in the future on how we identify and allocate these monies. But I can get you that list. We do have a priority list. I want to say a priority list, but we have a list of projects that we've identified already that could use that particular funding.
Okay, perfect. And then I think my last question is, because you've identified the 3 different buckets of funding, where does the new trust funds come out of when we looked at budget earlier?
Can I ask Philip to come and join me up here?
Please.
Could you repeat that one more time?
Sure. Because we're looking at these projects and there was 3 different accounts, new trust funds, SB 1800, and I forget what the third one is right off the top of my head. Where does the new trust funds come out of in relation to the presentation that you did earlier?
It's going to be coming out from the 915.
So I had highlighted the HB 1800, Act 250, and then trust funds. And then that's the area that you're asking about, right?
Okay, perfect.
It's the Hawaiian Home Operating Funds, T915. That's the new trust funds. Yeah.
Okay, mahalo nui. That's all I had.
Commissioner Kalikini?
Yeah, real quick, thank you, Kalani. So, just quickly on, Keaukaha, the sewer, the improvements, the master plan, is that, master plan available online?
Let me get back to you. I know we're in the process of working on it. And that's
Okay.
the reason why we needed the funding for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, okay, perfect. When, yeah, get back to me on that, please. Just a quick question, Chair, on the green fee, how does that work? I mean, for CIP, or we just have a wish list? How does that, how are we using it?
Well, there's I guess, a group that was created to make recommendations to the legislature.
Mm-hmm.
And the legislature actually examines and makes the final decision and on the distribution. So I don't know if you've been watching the media. I mean, there's some pushback back and forth regarding, well, are these new allocations decided by the legislature really appropriate regarding environmental or whatever? I think one was a slaughterhouse conversion of some of the funding. So it's, the final decision does rest with the legislature.
With the ledge, okay.
So we go in and, along with the governor, we make requests, and this time around, these awards actually came a little bit of a surprise, but, obviously we're thankful for any money that comes
Sure.
from any
Yeah.
place, anywhere, anytime.
Okay, thanks for that.
Any other questions, Commissioners? If not, thank you, Kalani. Okay. Oh, no, I guess not. Okay, the next item on the agenda, as soon as we get to the DHHL modernization. Deborah and
Aloha Commissioners and Chairman. For the record, my name is Debbie Oliviato, and I'm the Modernization Project Manager along with
Aloha Commissioners, Chair. My name is Kerwin Yadao. I am the technical lead for the modernization effort.
Mahalo for the opportunity to review our budget request for fiscal year 27. Just to give you a little background on where we started and where we're at now. In 2024, the DHHL saw the need to upgrade from its legacy system to a modernized platform and chose Salesforce. And with Salesforce, we are able to automate, streamline new processes to be more efficient. Next slide. So phase one, our accomplishments. Phase one is really building out Salesforce so we can move everything from our legacy system into Salesforce. And then using it and then also creating the beneficiary portal. We also started in this phase the project lease awards process. Next slide. So now in phase two is where we're at today, and these are the accomplishments. We've had housing process, which is the completion of the project lease awards. And I know of many of you commissioners who have attended the project lease awards can see from start to finish the process, and it's all done in Salesforce, which helps to move along those project lease awardees. We also worked on the wildfire mitigation project to assist with wildfire mitigation and how we can do our due diligence here at the department. Also assist enforcement. We also put Kumohana genealogy online to help with the applications branch. We did some loan data cleansing to move forward with the loan process as we move forward. We also put in the HH81, and these things are more operational, used for staff to be, be more productive, more efficient within Salesforce. Account numbers and also recordation system.
Okay, so as a holdover from phase two and as an in-progress items going into phase three, we do have two items, the water utility pilot program. So this is to replace the existing Utility Star legacy system that we're currently using. And we want to implement a Salesforce native solution for that. So the build out has been implemented already. We're just now waiting for the testing phase with our Homestead Service Division. So there is some scheduling conflict, which is why it led into phase three. The other additional item is the digital file migration. So separate from the generation of the actual accounts of the beneficiaries, we do have the additional artifacts, the lease agreements, the digitized files for their leases. That hasn't completed yet due to storage issues, which has now been resolved. So we're going to continue the migration into phase three. And we do want to point out that for these specific items, we are going to, the money has already been spent using the FY26 monies, and the FY27 money is not going to be used for this one. There is an additional line item that Deb will talk about later for this upcoming fiscal year 2027, which is related to the water utility pilot program. So that is the continuation after the testing phase has continued. Once we identified the gaps regarding the initial build out, then we're going to use those monies. Next slide, please. Okay, so this is our modernization timeline. As Deb mentioned, we just finished phase two, and we do want to highlight a little bit of typo. I'm so sorry. We do mean to say July of the fiscal years that's been highlighted in that timeline. So July 2025, 2026, and July 2027 for phase three. So we do want to highlight that a majority of the divisions are going to be tentatively completed, which is the Homestead Services Division, Housing, Enforcement, Planning, and NAHASDA. So all of those processes should be tentatively completed by the end of this fiscal year, 2027. Now going into July 2028 for phase 4, this is going to mark the final modernization effort phase as it pertains to the usage of trust funds. And that is included for the Land Development Division and Land Management Division. And after, so post phase 4, we do plan on just doing in-house development. Next slide, please. So that's one of the things we do want to highlight with regards to the expansion of the modernization team for the department. Going into phase 2, there was only Deb and I, Deb being the project manager, me being the technical lead. Now we've just recently onboarded an in-house developer, a software developer, who is going to be taking some of the projects away from our vendor so that we can reduce our reliance when it comes to third-party vendors. We do also want to highlight that we have been further integrating with the rest of the divisions as it pertains to our change management process. So what change management process is basically training and awareness for the rest of our staff so they know exactly what's going to come when it comes to the Salesforce development. Okay, next slide.
And this is the request for phase 3, which is a total of 941,046. And that includes all of NAHASDA, which is about 100,000. And then for HSD, enforcement and LDD, which is the housing branch, is 97,000. And planning, we have two separate projects for them, which is the grant management and the beneficiary surveys, which are both 62,000. General support, 53. And we also have the finishing up of the digital support, which is 38,953, and AI enhancements, which is another 38,953. Any questions?
Do you want to note the contribution from sales?
Yes. We were just awarded from Salesforce to be one of their project. They awarded us, it would cost us about $653,000.
Yeah, so this is a joint partnership with Salesforce, directly with Salesforce. So just want to highlight the difference. So we are working with a third-party vendor, which is Pacific Point. But separate to that development is Salesforce itself. And we are in partnership with them to deploy an AI solution for the department. And so we do want to caveat when we say the AI solution, we really mean this is for the benefit of our beneficiaries. And we've taken the feedback we've gotten from our beneficiaries regarding our inability to answer calls. And so this AI implementation is going to be a supplement to it. It's going to be a voice solution. So on top of being able to reach out to our staff members, they can also utilize the AI voice agents to be able to field simple questions like, for example, what kind of offerings are coming up for this year? How do I get into the wait list? What kind of factors, what kind of requirements do I need? What paperwork do I need to submit when it comes to the wait list? So all of those elemental questions can be fielded by AI to support our staff members who can in turn, focus their attention on more complex issues. So, and in addition to the voice agent, we're also going to be launching a chatbot in our website. So now they have availability, access to information 24/7. Instead of waiting for the next business hour for DHL, they can now go to our website, and instead of having to manually click into multiple areas in the website, they can simply ask the chatbot the questions that I've raised earlier, the wait list questions, the offering questions, all of those types of questions.
Any questions, commissioners?
Yeah, question.
Commissioner Lasua?
In regards to the software development, is the budget going to be sufficient for that?
Yeah, so actually, we do want to highlight that the year-over-year cost of the modernization effort has actually gone down. And in fact, specifically for phase 3, it would have been over $1 million, but due to the recent hiring of an in-house software developer, we were able to reduce the cost to under $1 million.
Oh, okay, so it's an in-house software development.
Correct.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Commissioner
Oh, I
Ornella?
was wondering, what was the value of that Salesforce award?
Oh.
And how does
So
that?
yes, as Deb mentioned, and I don't have the exact amount, but it does reflect roughly 600,000. And we got to that 600,000, and that's primarily due to Salesforce utilizing their own staff. So it's going to be the billable hours
Yeah.
for those staff to build out this AI implementation.
Commissioner Sinai?
Just one quick question, maybe clarification. So in your water utility pilot program, you talked about expansion, right? The extend the pilot to Molokai as well as Hawaii Island. What has been the impact on the current pilot?
We haven't, we're waiting because of scheduling with the Kauai staff. We're waiting for them to bring them on board, and then we'll find out from there how it goes once we get them onboarded.
Okay, mahalo.
Commissioner Kalekini?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, so just real quickly, first off, I want to say this modernization effort is critical to improving the department and totally support it. A question on the hours for the different areas of service that we're being provided. Are these hours from the Salesforce?
No,
people
this is
themselves?
specifically for our Pacific Point vendor.
What does that mean?
So
Go ahead.
So this is the billable hours for for our vendor Pacific Point.
Okay.
The AI implementation that Chair has introduced is a separate contract, which is free, by the way. I just want to clarify that the development for the Salesforce AI implementation is free of charge to the department. This one
Okay.
is specifically to continue the enhancements for our ongoing projects, such as the NHASDA implementation and HSD as well.
Okay. Do we anticipate about the same amount of service hours required for phase 4?
Not necessarily, primarily because there's only two divisions left over.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the rest of the department, barring administrative services office as well, which is going to be an in-house project.
Okay.
But for phase 4, we're only looking into for LED and LMD.
Okay. Oh, that helps. Thank you. Thanks, Joe.
Any other questions? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, Chair.
Okay, next presenter, Lihua, regarding NHASDA.
Aloha Chair, members of the Commission, Lehua Kinilau Kano, NHASDA Government Relations Program Specialist. While Michael is bringing the PowerPoint up live, I just want to add to modernization that has really been a game changer for us for NHASDA. If you know, we have a portal. Everyone can go through that portal. We've lessened the amount of phone calls we get because people can just go to the portal to submit their application. It streamlined a lot of our processes. I upgraded a position from a mortgage loan assistant to a specialist because I have less of the back and forth, sending the application, receiving the application, getting the documents, all of that is through the portal. And our hope with AI is that the AI can actually, because the way we determine income eligibility, a lot of times it's your tax return. So it's a certain line in your tax return. The AI could possibly do that, could even streamline our processes further. So that's really the intent, is to make it as easy, especially for the beneficiaries, worrying about their documents coming in, they can upload it themselves. So just wanted to highlight that because I see where the top number, I didn't know that till I saw it, but anyway, but there's the other HSD divisions. That being said, we are requesting an advance from the Hawaiian Home Trust Fund. Let me say ahead of the PowerPoint that I think it's really a function of the Act 279 and the increase in projects that we're doing and the fact that we have two turnkey projects going on at the same time, Puhona and EK2C and the strain on Nahasda, but we're very excited. This is a great opportunity if the commission is so willing, because I'm always asked about spend down of the funds. And if we advance some of our funds, in theory, I shouldn't ever be in a spend down situation, because then I can always just pay those outstanding funds is the idea. But it is, asking for you to consider use of the trust funds in this way. So I just sort of wanted to highlight, next slide, please. So our fund balance as of June 3rd, if you can see our 24-25 block grant funds together, is just under $3 million. That's all we have in our account right now. And then what typically happens is Congress appropriates funds, so they did fiscal year 26, but we don't receive it until July of 2026. We submit our housing plan, which you all accepted. It gets submitted to HUD. HUD has the time period to review to see that it meets the requirements. And then typically we're signing a grant agreement around now in July, roughly. So that's typically how the process goes. So we know we got the 22.3 million. So we're projected to have 25.2 million in July of 2026. But I'll run through with you, even if we spend the funds the way it's projected, which is actually really tight, we're still going to be short on the East Kapolei 2C, which is why I'm coming to ask for an advance of the trust funds for that purpose. So next slide, please. So the first is the capital improvement projects. We have $10,000 that we budgeted. It's really to finalize this master plan and EA. I have to say in advance, I apologize. It shouldn't have taken this long. We've had some staffing transitions on both sides. The consultant who's handling it, there's been some staffing transitions. And even in our planning office, the planner who started this, as well as the former head of the planning office, has both transitioned. So we hope we can just finalize, have this done. I know that there's going to be project leases awarded, but families are really excited about this area in Eva Beach. So we want to get that done. So that's the CIP 10,000 we have budgeted. Next slide is La'iopua. So we are starting to move towards leveraging our funds more. So instead of the high cost per unit for each turnkey project, we want to do, for example, here, where we give a letter of commitment of 2.4 million to the developer. They get an award of HHFDC. They're getting revenue bonds of up to 14.75 million and a reservation of LIHTC, federal and state. So you see how we're leveraging those funds? So now for Nahasda, it's like 80,000 per unit instead of, the cost of a turnkey unit now. And so we're going to see more of that over time and less of the homeowner financing. But that's, again, a tribute to Chair and that new approach. So we did give that letter of commitment. They were awarded those bonds and LIHTC. And so that's how those funds are going to be dispersed, the 2.4 million for developer financing. Next is, next slide, please, homeowner financing. So we're trying to finish off Pu'uhona, which we're shooting by the end of this year. So 16.4 million of the 26.6 million in loans for 29 of the 45 families in Pu'uhona is geared in this homeowner financing. So again, the bulk of it is going to Pu'uhona of that 17.8 I'm requesting. But next slide shows the difference. We have two lessees in Pi'ilani Maikekai. They're under construction. One is in partnership with Habitat, and one is with a contractor, Guild Development. And then we have one lessee in Waiahuli, who's also, so these are the awards, when the department awards vacant lots. And so we work with the families to get, a lot of them partner with Habitat. That's the vast majority. But we have periodically some of the lessees choose to use an outside contractor. So we have 1.3. So if you add the Pu'uhona and this together, that's the 17.8 million that we have budgeted for homeowner financing. Next slide, our home assistance program. We have 750,000 budgeted, but I have to say in advance, the demand is really big here, especially in Nanakuli. We did an area wide. We have a number of families waiting. So we're just moving them through the process. Very grateful for Leeward Habitat. They're a big partner in these builds that we're doing. And then the next slide, we do occasionally also have demo rebuilds when the home is that in that kind of a condition. Again, our oldest homesteads often require not just home repair, but it may require a demo rebuild. And then while the home is being built, if the family needs to rent outside, we do provide for temporary relocation as well. So that cover their rental assistance while the home is being built. Some of them have other arrangements, so we don't always have to cover that, but sometimes we do provide that assistance. Next slide. We also subsidize the rents at the Waimanalo Kupuna housing. This helps to keep rents affordable for those kupuna. So they pay no more than 30% of their income towards the rent. As you can see, the monthly subsidy can range from each kupuna from as low as $300 to as high as $1,424 per month. But again, that's so that they pay no more than 30% of their income towards rent. Next is our kupuna rental subsidy program with Hawaiian Council. These are kupuna who are on our wait list. We're starting to see, we're excited. We hope to do some messaging around this. There are gonna be some kupuna who are gonna move off of this and into homes, like in Ka'ulo Kaha'i. So it'll show how this rental assistance provided that bridge, if you will, so that they could get into homeownership. So we'll see some of that adjustment as well. Next slide. So we also use NAHASDA for rental vouchers for units developed for the Department of Fine Homelands. So right now we have La'iopua, we could be subsidizing rents, but we'll see a little bit more of this over time. For example, the courtyards of Waipoli, as those start to fill up. For example, the first 4 of 5 lessees that are now gonna be the first 5 that's selected at Waipoli, 4 of them are NAHASDA eligible, so they're 80% and below, and 1 was over income. So we'll see that demand from those who are 80% and below for that area. So we may be subsidizing rents there, as well as when Hale Mo'ili'ili comes up, Stanford Cars project, again, we will be subsidizing rents there as well. Next is housing counseling. Any time we provide NAHASDA assistance, housing counseling is required. Again, the whole idea is to set you up for success so that you can maintain your payment. And again, one example I always like to point to, Shirlene Rodriguez, she's all the way on the left. She built her home in Ka'ulo Kaha'i, and she attributes her success to housing counseling. Next slide is homeowner assistance. We have a partnership with Hawaii Community Lending, where for lessees who are struggling, we find a lot of situations they're having medical issues as an example. So they're having a hard time make their payment. We look at their situation and see how we can bring them current, whether it's with their property taxes, utilities, as well as their mortgage. So we work with each family and they're required to go to housing counseling to see how we can position them to be able to continue to make their monthly payments. Next is we still have the tail end of some water infrastructure improvements. It's sort of low in terms of what we're proposing to expend because the amount that we've been spending has been on the lower amount, but that is a project that we still have ongoing. The next one, it's gonna be an outcome of our work. We won't be spending any funds because the funds have already been dispersed, but for 40 units at Ulukekukui in Ma'ili, they're actually doing demo renovation right now as we speak, and then those will be 40 rentals that will become available, but our NAHASDA funds for this project has already been dispersed. And then next slide is modular. As Kalani pointed out, we are providing some funding. So far, we did about 5.4 million in NAHASDA funding. And what it will do is allow for 12 single-family homes in Ka'ulo Kaha'i and 7 in the Waianae 8 lot. And so that can go to 19 families. And we want to see what that's going to compare to cost-wise versus the turnkey. So we'll see what that looks like. As Kalani said, it's a pilot project that I think we're all looking at, depending on the cost and how successful that is, whether we'll use it in other areas. And then next is operation and maintenance. As you folks know, we do now have a temporary transitional housing for homeless beneficiaries on the wait list. We have a service provider and filling those units to get any beneficiaries who are experiencing homelessness, get them in. wrap services around them to stabilize their housing. And then last slide is the down payment closing costs. So we estimated 225,000 for five families. I think Anne mentioned we have 6 down payments we did for Pu'uhana and 1 in Ko'ulokaha'i. So we'll see what the demand is because you have to be between 80 to 100% AMI. But she's had to deny some families because they're over income. But at least, you know, that program is there to help with that down payment assistance when they're financing outside. So really, as you can see, when you add all of that up, we are projected to spend about 25,255,153. And as I told you before, we had 25,265,633.10. So just about 10,000. It's a very tight, slim budget. So therefore, again, we are asking to advance Hawaiian Home Trust funds for the 41 of the 53 families in Ko'ulokaha'i. As I explained in the submittal, we're hopeful that the process will be what happened, at least close to what happened last year. So the president didn't include any funds in his budget. The House included 18.3, and then the Senate kept us at level funding at 22.3. This year, the president zeroed our budget again. I know that made it out in the news. Of course, concerning that there was reference to Native Hawaiians are not a tribal nation, but a racial group. So again, very concerning. That language was never referenced before, but still the end result, the zeroing out. The House THUD committee came out with their bill at 15 million, and we've communicated to our Hawaii congressional delegation our request for 30 million. I've also communicated directly with the Senate THUD staff, let them know of our request, let them know of our advance, and so we could really use that increase. We don't know what will happen. We'll see what that comes out. But even if we get our request of 30 million, those funds are not going to come until July of 2027, which is why the need for this advance. With the intent that no later than fiscal year 2030, we'd like to make sure repayment is made. But I would be remiss if I didn't say I did reach out to HUD directly, and I included in the submittal that, you know, DHHL staff, I've been informed that it can incur pre-award costs, but these costs are incurred at our own risk, that DHHL must still comply with all program requirements, which we do. And because there is no guarantee that funding will be appropriated, reimbursement will be subject to availability of funding. So part of why I've asked for the advance of homeowner financing is worst case scenario. And I hope we don't have to be in this worst case scenario. If we don't get those funds, then if these families at least pay their loans back, it will make the trust whole. But ultimately, the goal is to still get those funds and to repay the trust. So mahalo for your consideration. And I should say one other thing. I'm going to the National Congress of American Indians mid-year conference next week. I will be on virtually, but I won't be in person next week when you meet. So, but I will be coming for the approval action of this request.
Any questions, Commissioners of Lehua? Good job, Lehua. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, executive session. The commission will convene in an executive session pursuant to section 92(5)(a)(4) HRS to consult with its attorneys on questions and issues pertaining to the commission's fiduciary duties and responsibilities. Can I have a motion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed, motion carried. Okay. The commission is reconvening from its executive session. The commission reviewed and discussed its duties and responsibilities as trustees of the commission under the Hawaiian Homes Commission Act. Okay, we have come to the end of today's budget workshop. Approval of the fiscal year 2027 budget will be on Monday, June 15th, which is the next regular meeting of the commission. Let me use my gavel here. We adjourn.
Thank you. Bye, Mike.
Okay, Mike. Thanks.